Hari Om. Let us continue in the same vein. We have reached a portion in the context of the Gita where we will be exploring the significance of battle in the Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita, we have a conflict between two groups of people based on a historical event. One group was ready to compromise the means and go against Dharma, even though Dharma is so very important. The other group was committed to maintaining the moral order, namely Dharma. This conflict can also be looked upon as one between a person's common sense knowledge and what he or she wants to accomplish, an inner war, an inner Mahabharata, so to speak. After all, every war takes place first in one's mind and only later outside. This was very significantly manifest during the world wars that the world has witnessed, during even our times. What to speak of the Mahabharata? The moral order is considered to be so important that a person will sacrifice everything for its sake. In the Mahabharata, there are many stories of such sacrifice. One story is about a man who gave up his kingdom and everything else he had in order to uphold the universal value of speaking truth. I'm sure many of us know what Poojya Swamiji or which story Poojya Swamiji is referring to over here. It's very clear that Poojya Swamiji is talking about Raja Harishchandra. The value of Satyam Vada was so elaborately portrayed in the Harishchandra Purana in several thousands of pages and running into several hundreds of shlokas just to illustrate one point, one Vedic injunction, Satyam Vada. That's all. Raja Harishchandra had to give up everything because of the very word that he had spoken. He stood by it in spite of losing everything, his kingdom, his wife, his child, everything. Pujya Swamiji goes on to say, because India is a place where dharma is important, it is referred to in the Gita as Dharma Kshetra. The Veda rules the hearts of the people and everything subserves the order of Dharma. In the country of Bharata, India, in a place called Kurukshetra, these two groups of people have assembled. prepared to fight. One group does not understand the value of values, while the other group does. All eyes were upon Arjuna, considered to be the greatest archer. Arjuna's driver was none other than Lord Krishna. The illustration of Arjuna seated in his magnificent chariot drawn by white horses and driven by Lord Krishna is very beautiful in that it relates to one's own life. This illustration also appears elsewhere in the Veda, in the Kathopanishad, in the famous Ratha Kalpana, through which Yamadharma Raja teaches valuable lessons to the young Nachiketas. The body chariot analogy. In this illustration, your body is likened to a chariot. Your senses are the horses. The five senses are the five horses. The mind is the reins, and your intellect, buddhi, is the driver. You are the one who is seated in the chariot. In other words, you are the Swami, the master. If your buddhi is loose, if your understanding is not very clear, you can end up anywhere because your chariot, your physical body, will not take you to the required destination. You can take the chariot to Artha, to Kama, to Dharma, or to Moksha. It all depends on the driver and you, the Swami. The driver, the Buddhi, educates the Swami, really speaking. You are as good or as bad as your driver. If the driver is uneducated and drunk also, you have had it. If, however, your driver is informed, educated, then he or she can take you anywhere you want to go. In the Gita, Krishna, the driver, the Sarathi, became the one who educated Arjuna. Partha Sarathi. He was a guru to Arjuna, and Arjuna was the Swami, the one seated in the chariot. Arjuna ordered Krishna to station his chariot between the two forces so that he could see those in the enemy ranks with whom he would fight. Krishna moved the chariot as directed. Yes, sir, as it were. From the vantage point selected by Krishna, Arjuna saw his own people in both camps and decided that nothing would be gained by fighting this battle. what is important over here are the words from the vantage point selected by Krishna. The vantage point. That is the mischief that Krishna played to begin this great, that laid the seed for Arjuna's later question. So, from this vantage point, Arjuna found himself facing Bhishma, who was his grandfather, and Drona, who was his teacher in archery. He saw uncles and cousins, friends and acquaintances, and other relatives. These were the people Arjuna would be destroying, the very people he needed with him in order to be happy about winning the war. Therefore, he said, I would rather not fight. We will see his arguments for his thinking later. The whole problem for Arjuna was one of these are my own people. We have this problem even today. For example, when we say my people, we mean that our we mean that our people can get away with doing anything and other people, unknown people, cannot. Isn't it? But in Arjuna's case, the people were not unknown. If the opposing army had been made up of men who are unknown to Arjuna, there would have been no Gita at all. Krishna would only have had to drive the chariot, nothing else, and Arjuna would have fought. Think about it. However, Arjuna happened to see people he knew, people with whom he was connected, with whom he had to settle accounts, and people who, in the process, might die. This is what bothered him, as it should have. It would bother any cultured person, any mature person. These were the people who really counted in Arjuna's life. Duryodhana also saw the same people, but it did not bother him as it did Arjuna because his value structure was different. There are a few select people in everyone's life whose opinions count, isn't it? You may not want to be seen by them on New York City's 42nd Street, for instance. It may not be because you do not want to be there, but rather because you are afraid of what these people will think of you. You do not want to fall short of the good opinion they have of you. These were the people who were standing in front of Arjuna, against whom he was supposed to fight. We will be looking at another very significant area of the Bhagavad Gita, which will be Arjuna's dilemma, which we will explore in the upcoming capsules. Hari Om. Om Durjana Sajjano Bhuyat Sajjana Shantimapnuyat Shanto Muccheta Bandhebhyah Muktaschanyan Vimochayet Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om